Florida Department of Health hacked. Birth certificates and death certificates have stopped being issued, a major issue down in Florida. We have more people from our audience doing tests and finding significant water added to their beef. It's been going on, but it's gotten a lot worse just recently. And Earth's magnetic field is off. We've talked about that on this channel, and it's messing up the whales, a major catastrophe over in Scotland. And the big question there is, if it's doing that to whales, what about to us? And the U.S. oil and gas industry under more and more pressure from this administration. That and more on today's updates. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your reports that you guys are sending in. If you have something to share with the group, please do use the word update in your comment on this video or any video on this channel. Give us a geographical location too if it's appropriate. We do want to thank our sponsor before we dive in of Genesis Gold Group. They help people with retirement accounts to move. If you have money in stocks and bonds, I really seriously ask you to consider whether you should move some of that or all of that over into physical metals like gold, silver, platinum. It's the easiest thing that you can do to really get significantly prepared. If you can buy physical metals out there, just buy them direct if you just have cash. But if your money's locked up in an IRA or other retirement accounts, there'll be a link at the end of the video. So, U.S. drilling rigs for oil and gas continues to drop. Last year, there were 675 rigs working actively. Now there's 584. Almost a loss of 100 drilling rigs. And this is showing us what's going to happen in the near future. And what's going to happen in the near future is we're going to see a drop-off of U.S. produced oil and gas. That is coming. We're still doing pretty good, but this is a bit of a lagging thing. So when this hits, we're going to start seeing a sharp drop-off of oil and gas production in the U.S., and our energy situation is going to get considerably worse. Full of Hope shares about an entire pod of 89 whales beached on a Scottish shore. So, and they say, believe it's the weakening magnetosphere. But 89 whales, all beached on the same shore. It's the pictures are, let's just say, astonishing, and not in a good way. We have, apparently these are happening more and more these days. Because the whales are getting, let's just say, confused because they can't find their direction, and they're getting confused by various things. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on with this, but more whale beachings happening more and more. And we also have the magnetic field around the Earth also dropping. Ken at the Florida, regarding the Florida Health, Department of Health, hacked. Now, we're just getting word of this, but this apparently happened 2 weeks ago, and we're still backlogged on death certificates and marriage and birth certificates. Now, those death certificates, you know that those are super important for establishing an estate, establishing bank accounts and everything like that, so that people can start to close up the estates and close up people's lives. And this is just not good. Major hack. They still can't access their databases, their systems, and this is really putting a major backlog on the people in Florida. One hack after the next. Seems like every day we have another hack to discuss, don't we? Parrot Africa says South Africa, Limpopo province, farmers lost crops due to extreme low temperatures and black frost killing the crops. Of course, because they're in the southern hemisphere, this is the dead of winter for South Africa. So they're having major issues with their crops down there. And of course, it's just one blow after the next for South Africa. Our hearts and prayers are with you folks down there. It's just watching a country disassemble itself in real time is horrible to see. Horrible to see. Terry says, I live in the oil field of Texas. We have not had the shortages that I've been hearing about, but they are now here. Everything you report on is here. Bad meat, rotten potatoes, if you can find them. Things are not looking good now. Matthew says, I went to Home Depot yesterday and noticed the boxes of 1 5/8 drywall screws have gone from $7 to $8 a box normally to now $25 a box. Inflation is under control, says the Biden administration. The press conference the other day that's what he's saying. Basically, inflation is completely under control. He's got it fixed. He's got it licked. How great of a president is he? I don't know if he would recognize a great president if he ever met one. Anyway, Keith says, I decided to cook one of those plastic tubes of ground beef. I took 1 pound of 85/15 and cooked it. I noticed before cooking it, it was really loose in the tube and seemed like an overinflated balloon. After cooking and draining the liquid, I had 11 ounces left. That's a 32% shrink. I looked it up, and it should have shrunk no more than 25%, or 12 ounces. So they are removing at least 1 ounce of meat and adding 1 ounce of water. That is scary, isn't it? I mean, just how are you supposed to buy stuff? I mean, you look at 2 cans on the shelf, right? And you assume that if one says 11 ounces and the other says 11 ounces, you assume that that means 11 ounces of whatever's on the can, like green beans or corn or whatever. But when they're filling the cans up with water, I mean, I don't care how many ounces of water are in the can. I care how many ounces of my product or the product that I'm trying to buy is in the can, right? And yet we're just seeing that this is another deceptive practice being used by corporations to make it so that we can't even figure out how much stuff costs out there. Daniel says, Texas corn crops, a bunch of the fields are small, or are real small. It is going to be a bad year for dry corn and core corn. Yes, some is grown for the core only too. So we're hearing bad word out there on Texas corn crops. Of course, Texas produces quite a bit of corn. Now, not just the storm damage out there, but we have drought and we have other issues in Texas, right? Beverly says, North Texas, lemons are gone. Limes, only 2 left. Frozen food, slower. Brookshires and all our stores carrying fresh meat, except one, we have a real meat market. Meds are scary. Our banks need to learn about cryptos. Well, there's some issues with cryptos too. I don't know that cryptos are necessarily the best way forward. Open source ledgers might be a good idea, but cryptocurrencies can have some problems too with everything being digital. If there's no backups, no centralized authorities, on one hand that's a good thing. On the other hand, it can also be a real problem. Hacking can be a much bigger problem on systems like that. As we have more and more quantum computers being fired up, those quantum computers can cut through the encryption on cryptos like a hot knife through butter. I mean, that's the serious concern out there. Now, up till now, cryptos are still secure because they have so much security, but quantum computers work functionally different than current day computers. You take one regular computer to hack a cryptocurrency algorithm or privacy algorithm on the internet, and it takes 1 million years or something like that. If you add another 9, basically it will take 1/10 of the time, right? So each one of those computers can contribute the same amount to hacking the algorithm there, right? But with quantum computers, every time you add another computer, it halves the time that it'll take to crack. So if you just keep adding more quantum cores to it, you basically just keep having the security in half again and half again, half again, half again, which is exponential, which can absolutely crack security codes. And we know that there are functional quantum computers. We know out in the open that there are, but how many behind the scenes are functioning? Does our federal government at the NSA and such like that have large-scale quantum computers that are able to just rip right through any kind of security protocols? And if so, they could mess with these cryptocurrencies. That's one of the reasons why I'm a little skeptical about cryptocurrencies. I'd rather hold my metal and hold my wealth than have some computer holding my wealth. This is from Highlander. Took my family on a road trip from central Kentucky through Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina. The roads are in terrible shape. No crabs at the shore at Myrtle Beach, as in zero. Not a single one seen all week. Stores directly in the populated area were well stocked, but every store we went to away from the tourist areas had lots of holes, especially discount brands. Thanks for checking those out. Gas prices range from $2.99 to $3.50 per gallon. And most of that's differences in taxes, right? Steve says, Central Ohio here, just outside Columbus. Twice in the past week or two, I have opened a can of Kroger brand green beans and found the can contained as much water as beans. One of them was almost 2/3 water and only 1/3 beans. Also, I was driving around doing errands this past week and lost count of how many front yards had a large item for sale sitting in it. Either a vehicle, a motorcycle, a boat, a trailer, or a camper. They had for sale signs in front of them everywhere I looked, it seemed. Is anyone else seeing that? Seeing a lot of people trying to sell their toys, trying to sell their non-necessary things like boats and campers and trailers, motorcycles, things that it seems like people are really hurting for cash out there, and they're starting to realize that they can't afford these toys. And because of that, they're selling them in order to put food on the table. Should we be concerned about this? I think we should be. I think we should be, because it's more evidence that people are really struggling out there. Now, if you're looking for a bug-out vehicle like an RV or a trailer, a camper trailer, so that you can bug out to the mountains and stuff like that, those prices are coming down, and it might be advantageous in the near future to get something along those lines. Pam says, today at Walmart in Woodbury, Minnesota, only 6 cans of GV coffee. Only 6 cans. The whole coffee area was only stocked with Folgers. No other brand. So no Maxwell House, nothing. No other brands other than 6 cans of GV. Also lots of stuff missing from the produce area. And the staff were already done stocking that area. So it's not like they were just waiting to get stocked up. They already stocked it. No celery, no potatoes. Lettuces are sparse. All right, friends, please do keep your reports coming in. Let us know what you guys are seeing where you are, and we'll keep you guys up to date as much as possible with what's going on out there so that you can be better prepared for the future. All right, friends, keep your stick on the ice. I will see you guys later. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.